Good evening, everybody, and thank you for coming. As you know, we have Professor Sivakumar talking to us about this Japanese masterpiece, Yearning, by Mikio Naruse. And I give you the floor. Thank you.
Good evening. This is my second visit to this Auroville, Aurofilm. Third visit in overall. When I came first time to screen Ken Loach's documentary, The Spirit of 45, I thought when I came here, I thought the whole structure and place as if I had time traveled to Andhra Pradesh Cinematography or something, a small place where all old newer directors assembled, watched films with Andhra Pradesh and created the new wave in the French cinema. No, that kind of a feeling because we were film students and okay, now today with Wimbledon's men's final starting in an hour's time, we're all here sacrificing that. Oh, doesn't mean that that's important, but but yesterday I was watching women's singles final and I always watch it only the finals whenever I'm home or time, when I have time. Sorry, what it got to do with the Naruse's earning, why I'm talking nonsense. It's true. Whenever I watch those, yesterday that the Czech player won the championship, became champion for the very first time. I saw the cut to these family members. I saw a tall, young guy. I was always imagining that guy should be her brother, the way he was yesterday's play. Then finally, only at the end, when they said your husband is there, and my God. But the way he was reacting, I thought that must be his brother. Okay, I'm just saying. Because this is what interests we filmmakers, when we cut to human faces, the small eye gesture, small eyebrow movement, the way you look and everything. This film is full of such things. Talking about Naruse, can we go to the PowerPoint a little bit? No, I don't. Yeah, I should say with a little, if I don't sound pompous, when I was a film student, when I was attending a Delhi film festival, maybe in the mid-80s, I don't remember the exact year, at that time there was a retrospective of Naruse films in one of the theatre. I didn't know who Naruse was, nothing about him. But on the early morning, winter time, January, I woke up early, I thought I would go there. There was no other screening in City Fort. I just went to that theatre near Loyola College. I just happened to, there were only 5-6 people, I think, almost the same crowd was sitting there, same number of people, in an international film festival. Went to the balcony and watched, my God, what a film it was. Then I watched all 6 or 7 Naruse films that were screened. I simply discovered there's such a great Japanese filmmaker. We only knew Japanese cinema means Kurosawa or Ozu, Misoguchi. Beyond that, we did not know anyone. When I discovered him, later read about him, and he's, even Ozu was his assistant. And Naruse, his speciality is like, just going to go to the next. You see, imagine in 39 years he's directed 89 films.
It's crazy.
Like a Hollywood. He keeps writing. Like Kurosawa makes fun of him, like whenever he reads his script. Okay, these two are there in the room and he was doing something and she reacted this way. Kurosawa would ask him, what is this something? That I will decide at the time of shoot. then only you can really finish the script very fast. That's the next one. His protagonists were always women, especially the provincial women, who kind of led the family, business affairs of the family. It doesn't go to the big city women or men. Men are always on the periphery in his films. And one is, even in this film, we see the story of that woman who is running a shop. She's a war widow, and Takame Hidako Takame, her name. She's been in many of Naruse's film. Almost we can say she is a signature artist, heroine in the film. Again, she is there, a wonderful performer. And when he tells a story of a few characters as a center of the story, he always keeps a backdrop. That's his unique style. The backdrop always will be a very social thing, the wider backdrop. Even in this film, we see this woman and unacceptable love as far as the society norms are concerned with his younger brother-in-law. She's a widow. But at the backdrop is, there was a time in the 64, early 60s, big supermarkets were invading the small provincial towns of Japan. Almost when I watched this film, we are still fighting against Walmart in India. When the Walmart came, and my God, this fight started in early 60s. But that's also the modernization of the Japanese society. All the provincial towns are urbanized. All those things are a very powerful backdrop. But that they remain at the backdrop. But the foreground is always about the story he talks about it. This woman and the lover, and what happens finally. Of course, like Anna Karenina, any unacceptable love in the world, we always know what the end will be. You can't tell a story of unacceptable love and give a happy ending. I don't know, there's nothing wrong with that, but somehow people do not accept that. That's how, so that same classic mode is followed even in this film. And also this unique style, I'm sure after the screening is over, there will be lots and lots of points to be discussed. First time I really discovered the best definition of love in this film. I keep talking about it to my students. I always say, can you tell me the opposite of love? Immediately people would say, hate. Hey, I'm not asking Oxford Dictionary meaning of that. Love. Love is not a word. It's something concept. I said that. I mean, from this film I understood the opposite to love is separation. That's why we always say, I miss you. Even when we don't say, that's a real, I mean, like that the film works at a multi-layered way. And this visual style is so unique. I'm sure all of us will be talking about one long sequence of train journey. Okay, beyond this, anything I say might end up as a spoiler. We will watch the film done. Since we have time for open discussion, I would love to listen to others and reactions of you people. Thank you. Okay, thanks for staying up. Viewers. I mean, watching movies is one thing. Having watched, discussing about the movie is another thing. Which is very important, not only for the film students, also for generally for film buff. I'm sure more than me talking, I want someone to react to the film, what you felt, and someone can start.
Shocked that it was a sad end. Because I do not like movies with which ends sad for me. But I don't feel sad. One should live for learning. I don't know.
What other way we could have ended it? If you are a filmmaker, what would you have done? Let them go together, live happily forever? But if that happened, I don't think we would be watching the film today. I don't. That's my feeling. I wish all of us secretly wish, but when we create something, it's not going to be that easy. Would society accept, people would accept? Would we be talking about it? It's okay, happy, that we travel from the point to that, for them to live happily. I hope you understand, I'm countering what you said, even I wish, secretly.
No, it's not a wish, but I just wonder, like, why should it end this way, or like, what's the point of having a movie end in a sad way, or like, I mean, should movies be realistic always, or is this realistic? I mean, there's nothing like it can't happen also, so I don't know. In that era in Japan, I mean, society.
Do you think even today in Indian society people accept? Brother-in-law falling in love with the... No, it's okay. Do you think if we make the film today in India, in any language, do we accept they live happily ever? No, also, maybe. What do you think?
In some cultures, like for example in North India, it is encouraged that if the sister-in-law and her husband, he has died, then the younger brother usually marries the sister-in-law, and it's encouraged as a custom, although it's considered to be regressive. But yes, we do have cases, but it's not like falling in love. It's like more like it's tradition and the arrangement, like that. Like the woman is a commodity, so she shouldn't be living alone. So the next in line is the brother, and then she's passed on to him.
But has any filmmaker made a film on that? Maybe a documentary or a short film would be made. But I don't think mainstream cinema would take that as a subject to do.
Yeah, but like if you talk about this idea of falling in love, which with a younger, much younger, in this movie it's 15 years difference.
12 years difference.
12 years difference? Okay. I mean that's still a taboo, of course.
Just a discussion. Yeah, that's a taboo. The word you said, taboo, who decides the taboo? I mean, of course there are such things happening in the society which I don't know how many of you have seen the Louis Malle's The Murmur of the Heart. Murmur of the Heart, the famous French filmmaker Louis Malle. He has made a film, the subject is that a young boy wants to sleep with his mother, not the Oedipus complex. But how he handled that, I mean, I don't want to say those who have not seen that, you would be shocked if you watch that film. That's one of the classics of French cinema of Louis Malle. Okay, but apart from that thing, of course, she has fallen in love with the subject, and that's why she felt so sad that they are not together, he passed. That's what I said in the beginning. Not only in any culture, Indian culture or any, Anna Karenina, Tolstoy, the married woman falling in love despite having a good relationship with husband. Finally, she commits suicide falling in front of a train. Why did Tolstoy write that? Somehow it has been the classical way of approaching love stories, a forbidden love, but within quotes. What is forbidden? And that forbidden love stories, people don't accept if you have a happy ending. No, I'm not saying it's my thing. I'm just thinking about it as a writer or as a, not just a... I know it's very interesting because normally I discuss this film only with Indian students. Yes, sir.
I just want to thank you as Aurofilm crew about this choice. I've never seen this one, and I know the director of course, but I've never seen this one. And I think also, yes, sure, the story is very interesting, and the way to tell the story is also very interesting, but when you see the picture, when you see the frame, all is perfect. The light is perfect, the frame is perfect. There is a real, especially in the train, it's very, very brilliant. The way, only with the frame and with the different close-up or no close-up and and white scene, how he shows how they get closer together. And it is really brilliant for that. And the pictures are fantastic. And also it's one of the things which bring emotion in that movie. Not only the story, but the way the delicateness of the light, like normal light. You don't feel at any moment it is done in a studio. It is really sensitive. It is really at the service of the characters, at the service of the people. And this picture of Japan at this time is very interesting because you see all the contradiction in the modernity and the tradition. So thanks again for this choice.
In the sense, if you love filmmaking, maybe they'll travel a day and a night. That's why we ask, too far your home is, yes. And the way it cuts every time for a transition, the train traveling different time zones of the day, night, early morning, rest, and they're just coming closer and closer and closer. Wow, it's absolutely poetic, and the way you use the language is, fantastic. That is, that really I admire. For editing, really you feel you're in the thumb and my God, long travel. And that boy is so innocent, and he says, I cried. The dialogue, he says, you simply said, I love you. After all, I'm a woman. Whenever you were not there, I was looking for you. When you were there, I don't know what I was going mad. Was that love? I'm sure many could accept all this. Many appreciate it. What a way it's done. Actually, the title itself, Yearning, that's an American title. It doesn't mean the original. The original meaning of the Japanese title is confused. That would be the right thing. Maybe these Americans got confused to nobody watched the film, Yearning. Most of the European films, they give their own title, especially even Asian films. They don't give the meaning of the original title.
In French, they translated by a woman in the storm or the storm. Yeah, something like.
Okay, a woman in the storm. Yeah, confused. Yeah, in the very beginning, she comes out, watches the van advertising the supermarket. She comes out, looks confused. Same way, the body is being carried away. She looks out and runs after, and she stops, looks confused.
The American way of life for the
Japan.
They have to switch.
There was many sequences where I felt like that time is quickly passing, like a quick montage kind of thing. Where I personally felt like I was living with them. Especially the train journey. It was so long. The whole sequence was so long. It could be short also. Like they board in a train and just then get down somewhere, and it could be short. But that journey was so long, and slowly the protagonist was moving towards a girl. Like different. He was changing a seat, and the first time when he looked at her, and he did the smile, but she never smiled back. But the second time she smiled back. That those small connections, it felt like, and the whole long journey. It's like I was feeling like I was traveling with them. Time slowly passing. It was really good.
More than 60 years old. 64 now, 2023. Wow, so fresh. Look, the praxis what she said, we all feel sad, they are not done. But no, is there any other way?
That's a question.
That's a question. That's what the film is about.
If it's a happy ending, we are not discussing.
We are not going to discuss it. we'll go have dosa, popcorn. Because this, we discuss it because that's a way to, no other way to end this film.
But why end this film this way? Very
Okay, I understand. Yeah, I know. Lots of youngsters ask this question. Wait, why the hell?
No, but why end
Why
the
not? We
film?
can end it that way. Okay, end it that way. Nobody will watch it.
No,
Nobody
but
will
the
discuss
director
it.
chose to end it this way. And what do you feel?
Yeah.
So, like, why did he choose to end it this way?
The director chose, but it's not this individual decision. That's not the same question I asked her. If you are a creator of this, even if you write a story like this, how will you end it? Because you have traveled. It's not just they fell in love, they just go around and announce. Then it's a different kind of a film. She said, I will kill myself if you say this again once more. But now she was also falling in love, confused. Is this love? But at the end, it was her decision to get off at some station, go to a inn, be together, and then she's the one who hugs him first. But the moment he tries to kiss her, she feels, again she was confused, oh no, that can't happen. Then he gets angry, he goes, whether he is with lots of women in the small inn, except that old lady, no one was there. But still he says it just as a facade and but it was only how to end it. See, as a creator, when you write something, when you narrate something, when you make something, the ending is it's not a just individual decision. Like you asked, some youngsters ask me, why can't say I would have ended it if they happily be together? Okay, that's because they've evolved, Naruse is not a man of but if you end it, it's a different kind of a film. They should be in love from the beginning. It's not a forbidden love, then it's a love story. Simple love story.
Maybe if it was now, just when she decides to get off the train, they would have started a new life. Because after all, she recognized that she loves him, and then he should accept it also. He said he was in love with her. We could have ended at when they get off the train. But
that kind of an open ending again, it's not that kind of subject that you want to have an open ending. Whenever you have an open ending, not that you are confused, but you want audience to discuss what would have happened to them. I don't think for this story, open ending would be the right thing, because the director has to say, the writer has to say, clear cut. This is a forbidden love story, forbidden love. It has to end.
and there's a death. He even dies.
Yeah, then,
He falls off the cliff, we see his hand.
Yeah.
He
no, I didn't.
I think he dies at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why she ties it so that we identify it was him.
But I mean, the man is still, it's not that he's unconscious. He seems to be dead.
Yeah, it's
So
dead.
it's really a tragical ending.
It is.
Forbidden love and forbidden forever. It's what it's like.
After what she spoke, something stuck my mind. What if it's something like, see, have we known these two characters in our real life? How would have been our response? So the final death, is it like how we would respond to this relationship? No, this is not right. So he dies, but what does it tell a little more further? Like the way we look at these couple, if they were in real life. In movie, we are also kind of very personally involved in their story, and we wish them to be together. But we don't look, even though there's a it's forbidden, we can still overlook and we feel like let them join. We feel sad when it ended this way. But in real life, would we be the people who desire for the death of this relationship? he died, but along with that, the possibility of that relationship also blooming or blossoming also died. So is the death, are we the death in their relationship? Like, if I had not been a film.
Yeah, like she said, in tradition it happens, but more as arrangement when the marriage, when the brother dies, the younger ones. The other way it happens many times when the wife dies, it happens when he marries the sister of his wife. That happens in lots of, even in Tamil culture. There are so many stories where the wife dies at a young age. Immediately they arrange the wife's sister to be, especially if they have kids, to take care of the kids. Then it's your question is 64, now 2023. I'm not sure if Naruse was alive and made the same subject, he would have ended it differently. Not the happy ending. See, in the film, definitely we know we are going to see Hidakata coming in the next film. Not that he's dead or but the takeaway you want audience to carry home. What do you want your audience to take away? They're very happy, you also feel happy. Is that the takeaway you want to give in the film? Having slogged so much in narrating the whole thing, that would be a very simple, ineffective takeaway, in my opinion. Though I am very much for the modern current thinking of even much younger boys, same thing. I mean, those in the early 20s, they all said, no sir, I don't accept it. They should have lived happily together forever. That's fine. But why did you take the trouble of traveling to that point, to the film? Then it should have been a different path. It would be a different narrative. Having chosen this narrative, this part, would there be another ending which would be accepted by all of us? Okay.
The incident really happened like this in Pondicherry. Near to LG's office, there was one lady by name Padmisi like that. The brother-in-law fell in love with her elder brother's wife, and he pulled her to have intercourse with him.
Yes, some same family.
Yes.
No,
yes.
that was while the brother was alive.
Ah, yes.
No, that's a different love story. No, that's a different love story or a love story, I'm not sure. No, such things are happening all the time. I know it was a very big news at that time. I remember having read that. No, that's a different.
He killed her.
They are not there, but this is a kind of a classical love. But all you remember is finally the train journey, the definition of love, how people are confused at times in real love. Yeah. Would like to say something? Yeah.
This conflict between the traditional mindset, especially the traditional female mindset, and the onset of modernity has been really shown well here. The question that you raised, how to end the film, it is very legitimate. But I guess tragedy is always more powerful than something positive. I guess we won't remember Shakespeare if he only wrote comedies. We remember him as the creator of Hamlet, first of all. Apart from that, of course, especially when you talk to the younger generation, I guess, they measure this film by their own standards that are very, very different even from the standards of your generation. And this is also, it's a good exercise to see how people would react it. I guess in the present audience we cannot judge, or at least I cannot. I'm not familiar with Japan, so I don't know how Japan was, but the case is definitely untypical. But yes, I guess when we from our position today try to imagine how it would have ended, we import our own position. But modern women, particularly modern women in the West, normally they consist of desires and demands, while traditional women consist of duties and self-sacrifice. And this is a very traditional woman. She's neat, she's made of duties and self-sacrifice, the spirit of self-sacrifice. So, such women would prefer to continue to sacrifice themselves rather than recognize their desires and make some very different choice. But thank you very much for introducing this film. It's even though it's Japanese and old, but it's still relevant, I guess, to the larger portion of humanity even today. Thank you very much.
Very nicely said. He said some very important, nice, points, especially the post-war Japan. The time is 80 days after the Second World War, 64 means. So the post-war situation also you have to take into the account, the modernization. That's correct. So to take a selfie.
So I wanted to know your thoughts about the person that he last met an old female, right? She says, I'm like a tree in the mountain, I've not been to Tokyo, and I had a son who had a similar age of yours and died. He passed away. Was there any relationship or something, any thoughts on this female character expressing this to him? Because I think probably she might be the last person who interacted live. Any thoughts on that, the dialogues or interaction?
I don't know, but I also really remember the dialogue, I'm like a tree in the mountain. I never moved out of this village. But always the modernity comes, unless, with the migration, with the travel, with the moving from one space to another space is what normally you progress. But, and also it could be, he died in the war, he died at your age, he says. I mean, if he was alive, it would have been this. This also could be a kind of a foreshadow to his death. Maybe that way it could be interpreted. It's the way she talks. Apart from that, she is stuck in one place. So the modernity doesn't matter to her. But if he was alive, he would have been of your age. That could be an interesting foreshadowing his death, his suicide that's going to come immediately. But of course, Naruse would not have thought introducing a character writing such dialogues, all with a purpose. That's what Only Susanna has been silent. Let's speak in Spanish.
Me gustó mucho. A piece of art. Beautiful.
Adding on to the point made by him about the idea of this self-sacrificial movie. So while watching this movie also I could make some parallels with some movies which I have grown up, Hindi movies watching with my parents. They will watch these Hindi movies from 60s and 70s, and that was the time when there was a huge trend of this good woman who's always compromising, who's always putting the family needs, the societal expectations above her own desires and above her own will, we can say, and always living under the pressure of being a good woman. And even in this movie we saw that she referred to the girl he was sleeping with as a slut, although that was an acceptable thing for the guy whom she fell in love with again. And this woman is also the same in this situation where she's always sacrificing and suffocating herself in her knees and always putting the family first, even the husband is dying. So in that way, it's drawing parallel to Hindu cinema in that way, that definition of good woman, she's always, the protagonist and some bad boy falling in love with those qualities maybe. So it's a little regressive also in those terms, I would say. So that is something which I wanted to say.
So I wonder the woman character, she calls her slut at the way he says, it all could be something like a facade also for the audience. I don't think it would be of that, because he has not shown him engaged in such, with sleeping with women or being with women. Only she comes along in the frame and she says, gives a watch only as a proof. And she says deliberately, I have other boyfriends, I can't return it, then he comes next time I have. Those are all, I think, his way of, Naruse's way of, the title itself confused. Naruse's way of confusing the audience. In a way, sometimes, these creators play too much with the or readers or audience, they enjoy that. They really enjoy that.
Especially in the end, you might know maybe the situation can turn in good side, in good love, and maybe not. So he always is playing with suspense. He's playing with what we can happen.
Yeah, sure.
Just at the end, we understand it's over. Just at the end, but there is some hope. He makes some hope. Very interesting.
Yeah, also all our traditional Indian films, they end with a marriage scene. Then they'll put Shivam and all life. They think marriage is real, they don't know that's the beginning of all the troubles. In a way. No, that's all, but it's they do it in a different level and there are so many films like, I don't know how many of you have seen the Japanese film called Woman and the Dunes. Yashikashi Bahara's. That could be very highly metaphysical and at the same time. That film was also in and around the same time. They had that way Japan had very quickly in the realm of senses films like that were also made. Japan that way it's
Who directed that?
Which one?
The film you talk about.
Tashi Gahara, the Woman in the Dunes. Tashi Gahara. I think he has just with that one film, he has made quite a few other films, but he reserved a permanent place in the history of cinema with this time. I did everything. Suddenly he was interested in film, he made this film. It's such a genius. And still people talk about it all over the world in film schools. Yeah.
So why, this
mostly all his films deal with women like, the provincial women who are in the thing. Because of the kind of sensitivity, so that you remember, just for the train scene itself you could say that, on the one hand, he talks about the backdrop. Constantly the backdrop is the supermarkets invading the small towns. That is there throughout. That he keeps only as a backdrop, not as a plot or plot sake. Then the foreground you see these two characters, the love story, and that it brings out the sensitivity of a woman. This Takamin, Hidako Takamin, the girl who played the sister-in-law, her husband is also a co-script writer for many of Naruse's films. In fact, she played a role in writing dialogues in the sense when they read together on the script, Naruse script, she would say, no these lines, no these lines. Why? All those things I will express with my face and eyes. I don't try to say it in words. She was so confident about that. And like Bergman and Ullman and like Naruse and Takamine they worked together in many classical films, many of his films. I don't know, it's very subjective. Unless you watch another 3 or 4 of his films, they're there, quite a few of his films are available. Selvam, I don't, you didn't say anything.
It's a good film, but I know the custom is that still prevailing at South India. I know personally, marrying the brother's wife, the younger brother can marry. Custom is prevailing there.
Custom is there.
But, I thought the lady also having some love with that brother-in-law. So it must be a happy ending or something, as somebody has told. The society has that, we also told in North India also it is there. The director may felt something different on this tragedy.
Like sometimes I thought the movies are to give a message to the society, or like this is just an artistic movie to appreciate the, or is what was the takeaway from it?
I don't think any good director gives a message openly, hey, this is a message, take away. You have to find your takeaway. That's it. I mean, like for many, the takeaway will be the crime scene. The feeling of love, we don't worry about it. You will travel somewhere sometime in a bus, plane or a train. Momentarily, you see someone, secretly you fall in love, imagine many things, suddenly she disappears. That could be an interesting short film. Like if you have read Gabriel Garcia Marquez' short story called An Aeroplane and a Beauty Queen. Read that short story. Wow! I mean, I asked students to write a script on that. They all find it so difficult to write a script out of that. Just, it's a first person narrating, he sees a beautiful woman while the plane is delayed in a Bali airport or whatever. I wish someone could make a film on that. So there's no takeaway, just a feel.
The question I meant probably ask is that how does the director choose to make a movie on this theme, apart from the woman and portraying her confusion or love itself? Like, is there
How did he choose? He was always interested as a filmmaker, comes from a tradition. He was primarily interested in, like Kurosawa was contemporary, he was interested in different subjects. He was interested in the provincial town, the conflict between the modernization and the traditions of Japan at that time. These two he was interested, he was trying to match both for his own kind of stories. Especially when you have an actor like Takami, many great directors, because of such an actors, that they also played a crucial role in picking up subjects and constructing the narrative. It happened to all good directors.
The construction of the script, the story, is really actual because Hollywood is using the same. It's conflict in between two people, and they don't have conflict, and there is another event coming. And it is really actual. And all Hollywood pick up this style of writing to make their own. And what is absolutely fantastic is it's done in 64, so 63. 64. And how many movies does he make before this one?
We have made at least, I think, 8-9 movies.
Yeah. And the topic is always the same, or
yeah,
he has a main
the man or the protagonist.
Yeah.
all his films, and provincial women specifically, and the conflict between modernity and the traditional values. This is stuck to him.
So in so many scenes, she expresses her love also, indirectly, not directly, but indirectly. But the thing is, according to me, which prevented her from marrying him?
Many times we think of doing many things, but something stop. Oh, I want to be a real revolutionary. Based on what I read and what I was exposed to, I can't do certain things in life. You will be confused about it. A simple person will do it very casually.
This movie, when I was actually watching, it's my friend Mohammed and myself, we both were in a train journey around India. It was like for 15 days. And there's a lot of stories that happened during the train journey. While watching the film, actually probably the second half of the film from the train journey, I had a similar experience. And my whole mind, even though I was watching the film, it just went back into that relationship which kind of was blossoming at the time. But it's similarly like this. Everything was like almost very similar, but like probably getting the food or giving that extra protection when somebody was leaning over. But after a certain point,
It was a good.
have you ever done? We have much more stories than me. I only one. So yeah, I mean like during the train journey, I mean it was completely unexpected. And then like we met and something similar things happened. The only thing I didn't die in the end. But the journey what we had together ended. I'm very similar of what really happened. And I think probably it's the question what she asked also, why do you want to make it and something, right? Sometimes this never leaves your brain. Like every other day, like sometimes I stay with a lot of people, I move along, I have a lot of friends and stuff, but then sometimes your mind keeps like wandering around what happened, how could have this been, had we been in one same city, or how could things have changed and stuff. I mean, we may move on, but there may be some residual effects, like still left out from that. It was a very few days, but for me, but I still have the residual effects still going on.
Got that number? Got that mobile? The story will develop if it has to develop.
Maybe Mohammed, you want to add something?
We'd say that's a visualization.
Yeah, the Yatra was amazing for us, especially. I also found someone there. We still connected. Yeah, it was not. I didn't feel like it's similar to my story, but because there was there is a train journey in both the story. So what I felt like we never think about differences before falling in love with each other. So when time passed, when we slowly realized that there are some differences, and sometimes things work out, sometimes not, maybe she will after what happened after that, maybe either we end up regretting or end up in love with each other, or the story goes on. But I think she'll gonna regret, maybe like she did not accepted him, and he had to go back, and he went to drink, and maybe because of the drinking he fell from the cliff. So this is maybe the regret which she is going to take for whole life. Like,
Suicide, it's not an accident. You concluded it's a suicide when it's not an accident. His death at the end?
Yeah, I mean, whether he fell off. But that's why there was a character saying when he fell off to the cliff. That's it, okay. He died, that's it. He fell off maybe in suicide or
Another question only. Yeah, it's another question.
See, that doesn't really need for a narrative. Of course, its death is important. Or he died could have been, otherwise you would not have introduced a character, he fell off the cliff. Someone says that. No, like your stories, it happened. It could be, if one has to make an interesting short film out of his experience, almost he has fallen in love and he thinks she is also, she gets off in the station roughly for him. Only when he sees her in the platform, he says, our boyfriend comes, hugs her and say them both together and say hi. It's all good. A short film was made like that. Really beautiful love story develops in the train. She doesn't reveal that she has a boyfriend. But she almost is so nice to him for his dream to really, and gives her number. When you come, you can stay with me. All these things she says. But at the end, my God, the way he says, my God, the boyfriend comes, hugs her and gives him both, and we say something to him. She says something to him. Then both together say hi. It's all good. A short film was made like that. Very interesting. Like that, you can think of a story. Write a story. Thank you. And this